Soul Disconnected podcast, the platform designed to reconnect us, bring us back to a common ground to understand one another. Open about our flaws and failures, focused on growth and positivity. The flame in the dark that burns in our soul. Check. Mic check 1 2. It's Win Tony Wrights with Soul Disconnected podcast. You're listening to episode 5, Do the Right Thing with Amanda Wright. She is a digital marketing manager and a production coordinator or manager as well. So I'd like to introduce you. Hello.
What's up, Anthony?
What's up?
You put on his radio voice right there, dude.
Oh, hey, I got good at it, right? I got good at it, dude. Yeah, I mean,
them years of experience, brother.
So what's up? How you been, man?
Going through the waves of life. Still happy to be connected to you, dude. Honestly, after all these years.
I appreciate that, man.
Of course, dude. Appreciate you.
It's crazy, huh? It's crazy how, like, throughout all these years, you start to, like, meet people, and then some people stick, some people move on, and then it's, like, it's funny. Like, you
some
just
people you reconnect with.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why.
It's
so
life.
Disconnect to reconnect.
Exactly. Them plugins. Those plugins.
So check it out. I wanted to bring you on here because, like, there's a lot of times, like, well, the people that I've been bringing on, they mean a lot to me because everyone has a story to tell. And that's why it's like, it was important for me to get you on because I feel like you have a big story to tell. Your life it matters and it's important. And
you too, Anthony. You too.
I try to think so. But but really though, dude, like it's crazy. Like the experiences we've had in the industry and all this stuff we've been through, it's kind of like what molded us to be where we're at now. Look, I'm doing this now from things I learned in the past. So.
Exactly.
Getting into it, where do you come from? Where do you live at right now?
Born and raised in East LA, Cheech and Chong. I'm just kidding.
There you go, like a champ. Nah. So
yeah,
you were born in East Los?
Born and raised, man. Like, I mean, pretty much still living there now. Like, I work in Highland Park. I'm living a little bit in Highland Park now too, moving around, trying to build my own personal, life and journey. But East Los Angeles is where I reside, man.
That's what's up. How was growing up there? Like your childhood and teenage years in East Los, man?
I actually I share this a lot with people nowadays because being half black and half Mexican was different.
The best of both worlds, though.
You would think that, but I grew up in East LA though.
Obviously.
So East LA people, especially, and it sucks to say this too because I'm only 25. So I was born in 94, and you would think, okay, like the racism and segregation and whatnot of the 90s, like the late 80s, early 90s would have been already surpassed. Rodney King and all that shit in LA, right? No, dude, like
it's heavy.
I had to go through that shit myself, man. Like I will never forget when I was in like 5th grade, dude. I used to always take the bus home. I remember seeing this kid who was also mixed. He was he was probably like 15 and I was younger. This Mexican, old ass cholo Mexican fool comes up to him with a bat, dude, trying to fuck him up. Like nigga, get the fuck out of here. Like all this different shit. Yeah. So what I'm just trying to explain is that it was a little tough growing up, being half black, half Mexican in East LA.
Yeah, because it still was the racial tension is still heavy there.
Totally.
So being both. In other places, it was like accepted or like being more welcome, but in East Los, it's a whole different ballgame.
It was, and so now I tell my little sister, I'm like, man, girl, you lucky because being biracial nowadays is like super trendy. Like, yeah, exactly. So I'm like, you lucky, girl.
Damn, that's crazy.
But hey, East LA is my home though. And
but
I love
dude, that's what molded you. Like,
exactly.
Me from knowing you, you don't take shit from nobody, dude. So
it's in my blood.
Yeah, that's what's up though. So. Getting into what's molded you and everything, what can you say now as of today or what's been before? What's been your biggest fear?
My biggest fear?
Yeah, that you could say off top.
Not being successful, man. Not making it out of the hood.
Yeah, I feel that.
Making it out of being from the hood, being from all that struggle. That's the worst fear. Probably, I'm sure everybody from the hood, that's their worst fear, is not being successful, not making it out of the hood. Because why? That's what happens. The cycle continues, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's always the goal. And I know it sounds so cliche and so like, like everybody says that, I guess you can say.
Yeah, but
It's a real thing, man. It's a real hustle. Like, because you just want to break the cycle. You want to be somebody different. You want to create something different for your family. You don't want to see your kids go through that shit.
Very true.
You know what I mean?
But like you said, coming from you, you said it sounds cliche, but not really, because if you don't understand it or never been there, then you don't understand.
Exactly.
So people that say that, you hear it often because there's a lot of people in the hood, dude. There's a lot of people who come from poverty and shit. So it's not really like something that comes off like that. It's just there's so many people going through it that it's like, dude, you'd have to live in my shoes to know what I'm talking about.
For real, dude, for real.
I know
not to knock anybody else's story, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
not to knock anybody else's past. Everybody's different.
Everybody has
shit.
struggles,
Yes.
but it's different, you know. And yours, you know, you came from the real, that real grimy grind.
Yeah, dude.
But what would you say is some of your insecurities in life, or that you had that you're working on now?
That's a great question, you know, because that's probably one of the biggest things that held me back in my radio career. I would have to say, is because of the lack of security with myself, because of myself being so young and not knowing how to hold myself, I guess you can say, uphold like just the energy that I had. I was so passionate, you know what I mean? I was so passionate. I had so much charisma. I wanted to do so many different things at once, and I was just kind of biting too much off that I could chew.
Yeah.
Because I was just so overwhelmed with, I'm in the industry, it's so fast paced. I have all these people around me, you know what I mean, who are telling me which direction to go. So
it's so much influence, but you don't know which ones are positive,
exactly.
which ones are negative.
You don't know which direction to go into. And being so young, you know, you're just trying to absorb it all. So with that being said, I would have to say to my younger self, dude, is like, it's okay, dude. Like, you're young. You don't know what's up right now. You don't know who you are. You're still figuring yourself out, but that's okay. And be true to that. Be true to the fact that you do not know who you are just yet. Don't act like you do, you know? So I would say for sure an insecurity is just still figuring myself out, still finding all the confidence and love for myself that I need to support myself in my entire life, you know, and that's going to continue to go. It's not something that comes overnight. Like, I know people who are twice my age and they're still finding that.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with that. And I am very much happy to be able to talk about it so openly now.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm the same way, because to be honest, I don't know if it ever came off that way, but I was insecure about a lot of shit being in there. And I guess per se, if you haven't been there long enough or tested the waters yet, I guess that's probably everybody goes through that.
Totally.
But you kind of, I wouldn't say second guess yourself, but you just don't know what to do, kind of how to come off or like how to get your foot in there where you're like stable there. You know what I mean? So
and genuine.
Yeah, that's
that was all. I feel like that was always something me and you had in common, was it's like, we gonna do this shit, but don't forget who you is, nigga.
I really just didn't want to like lie to myself, because there was times where it's like, if I don't feel comfortable with something and it sits on me, I feel like I'll have like a guilty ass conscience.
I
like,
feel you, brother.
I don't know, I just feel like that. Like,
but some people, it's not that way.
I just think people get numb to it. Like, I've been doing this fuck shit for so long, I'm gonna keep on doing it.
Yeah,
you know
dude. And that's life. That's with everything in life. You know, you get numb to a lot of different shit. Like how we were talking about earlier about just the cycles of the hood. You know, your family gets numb to the idea of this is what they know. This is all they know.
Yeah, and sometimes that's good that you say that, because sometimes people do shit that, like, in other people's eyes, they're like, damn, why are they doing that? It's kind of wrong. But if that's all you know, that's the only lifestyle you ever known, you can't really blame someone for the way they were programmed.
Totally.
You get what I'm saying?
Totally.
So as I get older, instead of asking why, or oh, fucking this or that, like, why do you got to do this or that way, or judge people, it's like, dude, there is a difference. Like, if you were raised a certain way, then I understand, and then you totally go left field.
Yeah.
I get that. But if you never known any other way besides the way you're out here getting it or living, then how do you know? Like, that's how you were programmed. That's how you're wired. So I try to be more empathetic on stuff like that.
Most definitely.
Instead of, like, blaming people and blaming situations or blaming areas or blaming a type of culture or blaming a type of, like, people in general, just a person or where they come from.
Everybody's
like, you really can't.
Yeah.
Because everyone's brought up differently. And just because it doesn't match your morals or your value, you can't sit there and bash the shit out of it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that they're wrong either. It does not mean that they're wrong either. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and everybody is going at their own fucking pace, man.
Exactly.
So there ain't nothing wrong with that. So kudos to you. Kudos to everybody. Like,
peace to the world.
Yeah.
Hey, so where do you work right now, dude?
Okay, so I work at this awesome place called the Artform Studio. It's in Highland Park. It's a record store / hair salon. I know it sounds weird as fuck. Like,
and a dance studio,
fuck?
right? They
Okay,
be
so
their
like
dance on in there.
There's a lot of shit going on. Let me break it down for you real quick. Okay, so Artform Studio is our hub. It is our main, offices, you can say. And like I said, it's home base. So it's the record store / hair salon, but it's owned by these amazing fucking people who have been in the Los Angeles community for years. And husband and wife own Sherry Young, Adrian Young. Sherry Young being a hairstylist, owner of the art form. Adrian being the record producer, owner of the record side, and he curates the record selection. But he also has a record label called Linear Labs, which I help out with the digital marketing side and production as well. And then we have another company, which is another partner of theirs, and it's a promotions company. So it's like an events company. So we throw all of our events through Art Don't Sleep, which is Andrew Loharo. And we all function together as a, huge unit. And it's a family fucking environment, man. And it's just about creating art. It's just a hub for all types of art forms.
How's it go? It's a family affair.
Oh, it's a family affair.
So check it out.
Hey. Cue the music.
It's crazy that you say that because the stuff coming out of Linear Labs, man, that music.
So you be listening.
Is crazy.
So you be listening.
Well, if you guys haven't heard of the Midnight Hour,
Yes.
I'm telling you right now,
Yes.
that is on some whole other level stuff. You
It's
guys
different.
need to.
It's beautiful.
If you guys are musically inclined, I would recommend you guys listen to the Midnight Hour.
But I do have to say, working at a record store, my fucking God, all I have been doing is just digging and digging and digging, dude. Like, woo! My catalog in my brain is huge now, man. Let me tell you.
That's dope, dude.
It's dope. I really
like
appreciate it.
You're soaking up all that knowledge of all those
And
years
it's just
of
like
music.
going back too, man. Like, think about it. Every day I'm listening to something new, but it's not even new, dude. Like, it's been around for 30, 40 years.
And it's new to you, though. Like,
but that's what's beautiful.
And it's crazy because it's hitting you like it did people years
Yes,
ago,
and I'm
dude.
just like, damn, like, music is fucking dope, dude. It's never, ever, it never ceases to amaze me. The empowerment and the connection that you get just through music, man. It's so beautiful. That's why I even did anything. That's why I was even able to meet you, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's really a trip, though, because, like, everyone has their own muse, like, that gets them, but I don't know, like, music seems so relatable.
Totally.
Like, it seems like just, like, a language that connects people, for real, dude. It's like, I don't know.
All around the world.
It's a trip. It's universal, you know? So going into that, what inspired you to tap into the music industry, into entertainment and marketing and all that? What sparked you to be like, yeah, I could really do this?
You know, to be honest, when I graduated high school, I was going to be a nurse. And then, like, I was like, oh, my God, I hate blood. I cannot do this, dude. So, I just always loved music, man. I always loved music. In high school, I was a super hip-hop head, smoking weed, just fucking always engulfed in music. And then once I graduated, like, I was going to community college, just trying to go to school, figure shit out. And at the time, I was working at this one place, and it involved me actually, like, it was kind of like I was like a tender, like a bartender, right? So it involved me interacting with a lot of different people, talking to people, and I love talking to people. That's always been something about myself. But there is where I realized, like, the connection that I was able to get with talking with people, and how I'm able to, like, pull things out of people, So people would tell me, like, yo, dude, like, you should do radio. Like, you have a good voice for radio. And I'm like, wow, dude, I never fucking thought about that shit. Like, let's go see what's up. So homegirl went to go and just fucking apply, and homegirl got the job, dude. Like, I'll never forget how I got the job too, yo. Like, so things line up in your life for reasons, And it just so happened that radio lined up in my life for whatever reason, and now I'm here, Like, so I just, with that experience, especially being so young and being able to get in like that, dude, and like I just tried and it worked, So that just showed me that, like, dude, like, follow your intuition, do what you want, and just, like, go with the flow, man.
And
like,
don't be afraid to try shit.
Yeah.
Even if you're scared, like, don't be afraid to try something different, because you never know, like, what could happen. You don't know the possibilities. It's endless.
Totally, dude. So So yeah, I would have never fucking thought. I would have never thought. But now that I've tapped into this, it just made me realize like you can do what you want. You can do what you love. You can be around what you love. You don't gotta be in a fucking cubicle 9 to 5, like dying, dude, like miserable. Like do what makes you happy. If you're a fucking nurse, if you like taking care of people, if you like helping them out in that way, go do it, dude. Kudos to you. Like your homie that you had on, the firefighter. If he's over here saving lives, you know what I mean? Like that takes skill too. That takes so much like integrity, man, bravery. So do it. You know?
Everyone has a thing that makes them them, and you can't shy away from that. If it's your calling, like dude, live it. Find a way. Like pay your debts off. Dude, find ways to make what you're trying to pursue happen in your life. Because I feel like you'll fill that void that's been like deep inside you for so long, and you'll find some like a way better purpose on living. People are always searching for a purpose or a reason to live, and I feel like once you find that thing that makes you you, and some people, like you said, it may take them double our age or even later down the road, or they could find it at a young age and be like, I found my purpose,
or find it at their deathbed, dude.
But it's the ultimate goal is finding that and being comfortable in your own skin and accepting who you are, accepting your truths, and accepting everything you've gone through, what made you you. Like once you learn to accept it and love yourself and live through everything you went through, like you're good.
Yeah, totally. Like, that's the key to life.
And it's a process. I'm sure you're going through it. I'm still trying to go through it, and just like the more and more you're honest with yourself, though, like shit, dude. Like
that's the healing right there.
It really starts like changing you. So going back to radio, which is dope. What was the first radio station you worked for?
Oh, I wonder. Well, I actually got hired with yo ass.
Oh, okay. I thought you had some experience. You came in there.
Well, I mean, I the one experience that I had was like I had interned at this like community radio thing in Almani, but it was super small. I didn't really get to do anything on air, like. It was so small, dude. It was nothing. So my first gig was KDAY. I always consider it KDAY, you know what I mean? And I got hired with you, dude. So we both started at the same time, man.
935 KDAY.
Yeah, dude.
There you go. I plugged you guys in.
Oh,
if you're listening.
Shit, yeah.
Nah, but
back in the day.
Dude, that shit was crazy though, man. Like, did you have to go through 3 interviews too?
No,
or you did 2?
I did
one.
Can I tell you about my interview, dude?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, dude, just because I always share my interview and like I will never forget it.
It's funny. Yeah, too bad I don't got cameras yet. But she raised her hand like she's in class, like, hey, can I tell you real quick?
You know what? Get them cameras, boy. We talking about that marketing.
Student in the back. Go ahead and give us your answer.
Okay, so go ahead and give us your answer. Yes, teacher. Okay, so Mr. Alvarez, today.
Hey, no government. Nah, I'm just kidding. Nah, go for it.
ARS, my bad. So, dude, what was crazy about my interview, and this is why, like, I really believe in, like, the alignment of life and just the law of attraction, dude, is, like, so, like I said, I just fucking applied for KDAY, and then I kept on bugging them, and I was like, yo, dude, like, following up. They're like, hey, come through for the interview. The day before I went to the interview, dude, I was driving by myself in Little Tokyo, and I drove past this thing. I think I've told you this story. But
I'm sure you have. That's I'm sure. Like, but it's crazy because the way you're describing it's like a fucking movie. So I'm trying to hang on for the ride right here, dude. I'm like, whoa.
Okay, hold on. It gets better. We're about to go into 5th gear. Okay, so fucking I drive by this dope ass thing, dude. It was like this big ass festival of like graffiti artists, b-boys, hip hop, everything, dude. I was like, this is heaven, nigga.
Oh, so then like you're talking about the beat swap beat.
Yes, homie. I drove by. I never knew what the fuck it was. I literally went home, go pick up my brother, and I was like, yo, dude, I need you to come with me really quick. Brought his ass down with me. We go check it out. It was fucking dope, dude. It was so fucking dope. And mind you, I was like 18 years old when I first seen this, you know? So then the next day, dude, I had my interview. Tell me why Scooby was wearing a fucking beat swap meet sweater. And I literally was sitting there, and honestly, the interview wasn't going that well, in my opinion. And then I just butted out, and I just like was like, "Oh, dude, like beat swap me." I was like, "What's up, beat swap me, dude?" And he's like, "What the fuck do you know about beat swap me?" This little ass girl right here, you know. And I was like, "Dude, like I just went yesterday. Like that shit was amazing." And then that was my interview, dude, and that's how I got the fucking job. Because at that point, we started chopping it up about hip hop, started chopping it up about music and everything, and It worked out. It worked out cool,
you
dude.
can take that if you need that call.
We good.
You're like,
I already handled
she's
business.
super busy, y'all.
No, no.
Like that phone's been going off like 100 miles
dude,
per hour.
Shut up. And we had a production last night, man. We got to clean the fuck up. Sorry, dude. But anyway, so I just wanted to share that story.
So,
it was cool.
You know what? That shit was crazy, dude. Like the whole experience behind it.
I do also want to share this with you. I was thinking about this on the way here. One of my favorite events that I ever worked with you, although there have been many, because we worked hella events together. I worked with your ass for like 4 years, dude. We worked hella events together. But this one event that I'll never forget, just because it just touched my heart, we did this community event in OC. And I remember it was super chill. Me and you were just set up, just chilling, and we were bumping our own music, like oldies and shit. Because we were like, fuck it, man. Like, we're going to just fucking...
Because we didn't...
something
happened. They didn't want, like, hip-hop. Yes. Remember? They didn't want no hood
We had to improvise, in other words.
Do you guys have other music? Like,
not fuck these hoes, fuck these bitches.
Yeah, like, what kind of music do you think we play? Like, we don't have that. Yeah.
So we played, I remember playing, because me and you were going back and forth, playing our own tunes. And I remember playing Curtis Mayfield, Diamond in the Back.
Oh, yeah.
And then this one fool came up to us, dude, and he was just like, and he was a homeless man that was getting services there that day. And I remember him distinctly coming up to us, and he was like, yo, dude, like, this song, it keeps me going. Like, it helps me in life. You know what I mean? It inspires me, and it reminds me that, like, to be thankful for what you got. You know what I mean? Just like how he says in the song, dude, like, so those are the moments I live for.
Yeah, the community events were dope to me. Like,
hell yeah.
I
fell in love with community through radio, bro.
Nothing will take away from like the big events and concerts and all the cool shit we got to do and the artists we got to meet, but the community events, when you're there and just giving them something, like a t-shirt, something, and just making them feel like you weren't afraid to go to certain areas. You were just like out there, like with the people.
Dude,
and
we was in the hood, man.
Yeah, I would always love to pull up right there.
In the streets, dude, in that Cadillac dipping.
Yeah, yeah, Escalade rolling. Like before, it's crazy because people wouldn't really, like want to go to certain areas. But totally. It's like me, I was open for like send me anywhere, like. Yeah. And because when you pull up, it's the love you get's crazy, and the people are just excited for something different, something like live music, entertainment, joking, laughing, raffles, games.
And
like,
what is it? It's just music that is making their day, dude. Music that's bringing people together, like we said, like So it's fucking dope, man. And like I said, I'll never forget that event. For some reason, that event resonates with me so much. Just because, like, that's what music's all about.
And you got that one. That was when you were doing, like, some of the promotion side, too. Like, where you were marketing, too. So you were getting some of these accounts.
That guy, actually, the person who threw that event, I forgot what it's called. It's, like, Operation Warm Wishes, I believe it is, in the OC or, like, Santa Ana. And that was my first person that I ever interviewed for my community show.
Oh, wow. That's dope.
So it all comes full circle, right?
It all plugged back to the same thing.
All comes full circle, yep.
So what positions did you hold in radio?
Man, I worked my ass up from the fucking bottom. That shit was, I worked my ass up from the bottom, dude. Shit, I was over there fucking, I was a street teamer. You already know that's how you get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
Being a little runner, running around the streets, running for the talent, everything.
Yeah, getting coffee and stuff like that.
Doing all that
everything.
Shit. Hey, but it's all right, though. AD always bought us some fucking Wingstop. So that was that shit. Street team. And then I was fortunate enough to become one of the promotions coordinators, and I was running the street teamers for quite some time. We actually didn't even have a fucking marketing manager at KDAY for maybe like a year and a half. So homegirl was pretty much running the fucking marketing department.
Yeah.
But obviously with a great team, with the great colleagues, with you guys, you know what I mean? It was fun working with you guys. I loved you guys, you know what I mean? Every one of you guys.
You were dope with the schedule though, for real. You made scheduling easy, dude.
I was always just cool with you guys. My idea of a manager is somebody who's fucking cool, you know what I'm saying? Well, too,
you think about it, you're in radio, dude. The shit's gotta be fun. Like, why are you gonna pull
uptight asshole, you know? But it's anyway, so yeah, I did that, and then after that I finally made it to programming, because that was the big shift that you always want. And then I did board opping, and then I did like content production. I started doing digital management for different talents, show producing, and then I eventually got my own community show, started doing my own show production, and then I eventually made it on air, dude, and I finally got all the way to the morning show. And all I know is that with all those experiences, all I can say is I'm happy to have experience them and to have made it that far, like it's all an accomplishment in my eyes. It's all something that I am very proud of myself for.
As you should be.
And I'm not going to nothing's going to take it away from me. You know what I mean? Like, but I do have to say this is that once I did get to the quote unquote final spot that I thought was the end, right? That's the end goal, is to get on air, get onto the fucking morning show, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I got there and I realized that that's not what I wanted anymore. That's not what was motivating me. That's not what I got
and you
into
weren't even
radio
happy,
for.
right?
Exactly. I wasn't at peace with myself because I was
stressed the fuck out.
So fucking for so long, just hurrying up and get to the top. That's the goal. That's what they try to teach you. Is like, you got to get there. You got to get there. And so that's your vision. And when you hungry, you go, you know, you just fucking blinders on, like doing it. And I did it, man. But I wasn't happy. I lost like what I was passionate about. I lost what I was doing it for.
What actually drove you.
Exactly. And now that I've, you know, stepped back from all of that, I've realized what drove me in this community, man. You know, that's like how we were talking about. That's what made me so happy, you know?
Yeah, that's why I named this, the title of this episode, Do the Right Thing. That was the name of your community show.
Yes.
And a brand that you started. And it's
Most
crazy because Do the Right Thing, and you're using it, you spell it with WRIGHT, which is your last name,
yes,
correct?
Yes, sir.
So let's talk about that, your brand, Do the Right Thing. So how did that come about, and what is it to you, and what are you doing with it now?
You know, I'm not going to lie, dude. You know who helped me out with that shit?
Who?
Mariko.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah,
Shout out to Mariko.
I think I do remember Mariko, like, just one day, just like, yo, like, do the right thing, dude. And I was like, damn, that's it. But
boom, the light just sparked in your head.
Yeah, dude. But to be honest, man, like, I grew up off community, man. I used to be in the Boys and Girls Club. I used to be a part of Big Brothers Big Sisters. Like, I used to be a part of anything that was going on within the community. Like, you know, we was the family. I was the family that my mom's single parent. We was getting toys from church every Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was going to fucking the shelters to get food for Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Every year, dude.
You've really been through that, so you know what it's like to not
receive
have
it.
Yeah, and not have, and to receive it, and that sense of warmth.
Yeah,
or being able
from
to
complete
provide.
strangers.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
From complete strangers. The help that you can get from complete strangers versus your own damn family sometimes, you know? So that shit really, really touched my heart, and it always has resonated with me, and it just made me realize that what the community did for me, I got to do for the community. So, yeah, dude, like my community show, I fell in love with that shit. I still am in love with it. I still have, that is my calling.
Did you save all those?
Of course.
Oh,
I got
good.
them banked. You know, I'm just
you should
doing
post them on YouTube or something, dude.
I do have a YouTube channel. I got to get my shit together. Don't trip, Anthony. We both on the escalator up right now. But I am working on it. I'm going to get back on my Do the Right Thing causes. And just know that, girls in the community still, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always out there in the community. I'm in these streets, and I'm always trying to connect with my people as much as I can. And to me, that's everything. And once I'm able to sustain myself, then that's when I'm going to most definitely create a platform.
Really push it.
And really give to others. Because, you got to start with yourself first, man. That's another thing I learned is as much as I want to help so many different people.
You have to help yourself first. That's a major thing. And it's crazy because sometimes a lot of people are coming from every which way because they see the possibilities and opportunities that you have and that you could create, but they don't realize, like, you're trying to climb this ladder yourself, and you're trying to get to that place where you not necessarily plateau, but you're walking on stable ground.
Of course, yeah.
And it's still a long ways, and there's no time frame, but it's a long ways until you touch down to that spot where you can actually start bringing people up with you.
Exactly. Like, you can't lift anybody up if you can't lift yourself up,
Exactly.
So that's the number one, man. And it was kind of hard for me to realize that, to be honest, because I feel like my entire life is based off of giving back.
So would you say that's what motivates you? Like,
what?
That's the thing that motivates you is the opportunity to give back? Is that your drive?
Totally. Yeah. Cause like eventually once I'm sustainable, like you said, once I'm able to actually be on that, solid ground, then yeah, dude, it's time to give back. That's what life's all about.
Like, would you say that's what motivates you? You're like, what?
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just messing up. So if you could tell your younger self anything, what would it be? Like anything positive for the better, like advice. Like if there was anything you could tell your younger self, what would that sentence be?
I mean,
what
like,
what would those
it's
words
so
be?
cliche too, but like, fuck, just believe in yourself, dude. Like, you have what it takes. Like, stop second guessing yourself. And like, I'm like literally talking to myself right now. I'm envisioning myself.
No, but that's
like,
good. Good self talk is
yes,
great.
yes, even though it's in the past talk, but
Yeah.
like for sure, I would have told myself like, yo, like love yourself, dude, because like you got it,
Yeah.
And I'm not being cocky or anything like that. I'm just trying to, like, there's a difference between cockiness and confidence.
Yeah,
and
there's a big difference in that.
And I've never been a cocky person.
Mhm.
Never, dude. If you know me, nah, I'm a humble ass fucking person.
Yeah,
dude.
no,
and I don't brag about it either. I just know that I am. And to the point where I'm at in my life now,
Mhm.
it's called confidence. It's called fucking, just empowerment, man. Like I'm just in a point in my life where there's nothing wrong with me giving myself a fucking pat on the shoulder.
Yeah,
you know why?
and you know what's
because
crazy?
I fucking deserve it.
Exactly.
Like,
it's crazy because so many people. Well, there's a lot of people that do it excessively. Like,
no, that's what I'm saying. Like,
no,
it's a thin line, nigga. It's a thin line.
No, but see, at the same token though, like, it's crazy because, sometimes we don't do it enough, and it's like you've accomplished so much, and I'm saying like you, and I'm talking to myself too. Like, you've done so much. To not, like, why not feel proud of yourself?
Exactly.
Why don't you feel like you're good enough?
Exactly.
Like, accept it.
It's
because
we're fucking perfectionists.
Yeah, not only that, but it's like too, you see
your
the
more
growth,
potential.
Yeah, you see your growth, like small baby steps. Yeah. And you're like, this ain't shit.
Yeah.
This ain't shit. No,
but it's these little, like we were talking about earlier, it's these little fruits of these labors that we getting right now. Because then when we at our prime, because our prime's gonna be a long way from here. You think prime's right now, but it's later on in life. And then you're gonna look back and be like, damn, look at that rap sheet. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's cool, dude. Right now, I'm just enjoying the fucking journey,
Yeah, it's dope. And you definitely are. It's cool seeing that you've done everything and speaking, like, doing all the stuff you're doing. Mm-hmm. You recently went to Japan, right?
Woo-woo, I did.
How was that?
Konnichiwa.
How was that, dude?
Dude, it was fucking amazing.
What were you doing out there? On vacation or what?
No, I mean, like, it was my vacation in my eyes, but I actually got the opportunity to do some tour managing. That was my first ever tour management gig, and it was with Brian Jackson. So if you don't know who the fuck Brian Jackson is, then you're fucking sleeping, dude. Gil Scott-Heron and Brian Jackson, dude. Brian Jackson was the composer, arranger, pianist, flautist for Gil Scott-Heron. And Gil Scott-Heron is one of the first poets. He's a great poet.
He would add like poetry to back music.
In other words, what I'm trying to say is he's like one of the first MCs, man.
Spoken word.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he is a legend. The revolution will not be televised.
Yeah.
He's the one who coined that term, So I was very fortunate to work with fucking Brian Jackson and his peeps and just be around such amazing people, man, who made the trip so easy for me and so dope. And it was dope to experience a different world and realize that, like we were talking about, music connects everybody. Like, dude, these people in Japan don't speak a lick of English, but they in the crowd vibing with us with Brian Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
It.
Like,
they feel the
hell
vibes.
Yeah, dude. Like, oh my God. So that was an experience I will forever hold near and dear to my heart, and I cannot wait to. It just opened my eyes to realize that, man, there's so many more possibilities. Like, who would have thought that I would have fucking done that?
Tour
like
management?
Who would have thought?
That's dope.
So
how many shows did you guys do out there?
We did 2 shows we did fucking 4 shows in Tokyo. So we did 2 days in Tokyo, and then we did 1 day in Osaka. So we did 4 shows in Tokyo and then 2 shows in Osaka.
What was your greatest experience? Just seeing the people vibe out?
I think what resonated the most with me was being able to see and like be around so closely with the band. Like, what I've found myself falling in love with more with music over the years now is live instrumentation. I love seeing the interaction of the band, like the chemistry that these people have on stage. And it's like they're literally talking to each other with their instruments. It's like they're communicating with each other. Like, he knows which way to go because he just hit that kick snare right there. And he's like, oh, boom, we're about to hit that verse. You know what I mean? Like, but it's just beautiful. The language.
Like the communication with so little. Like,
with none.
So,
without even talking.
Just energies.
Yes. So that to me was beautiful to see the connection of the band. And then, like I said, I was very fortunate to be with people who were fucking with each other, because there are times you're gonna go on tour with people who have their little cliques, or like they just not fucking with you. You guys got a different vibe. It's people, you know what I mean? People are different. Sometimes you don't fucking get along with everybody. That's life. But I was fortunate enough to be around people who did all get along and just vibing, man, and good energy. And so it was an experience I'll never forget, man.
Damn, that is really dope.
It was beautiful.
So was the flight scary or
Dude,
anything?
that was my first ever like long flight.
Oh,
11
damn.
hours.
11 hours?
Like 11 and a half hours.
Did you sleep a little bit or no?
Dude, so on the way there, I did sleep a little bit because, yeah, you're just fucking like in the dark and then, you know, it's a long flight. But on the way there, I was really excited. On the way back, fuck, I was so anxious to get off the fucking plane, dude. Like,
you were like,
I was
antsy?
just like ready to go home, you know, but it was an experience. I got to get used to flying if I'm trying to travel more, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I just got to get used to it.
That's crazy. So, it's funny because this part I ask like funny questions and shit.
Come on.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Psh, I already know this one. Fucking reading minds, man.
Hey, that would help.
I would,
in the industry. That's
what I'm saying. I would. People always tell me, and I tell them that, and they're like, "Dude, aren't you gonna be like overwhelmed by all the shit that you know?" I'm like, at least I'm knowing the fucking truth. All these fake ass motherfuckers lying to my face.
Read you know what I'm saying? You could read minds of the people you're standing in front of.
Yes, like, I'm not trying to like be like Bruce Almighty, where he's like having all these people's thoughts in his head. I'm just trying to like, if you in front of me, read your mind. You know?
Yeah. So. Here's another good question because it's crazy because I recently heard them using the same term. I don't know if they still do, but who's the hit squad?
Oh, fucking KDAY. They use Hit Squad again?
I think so.
No way! I heard Hit Squad? Oh my God, that's some old shit right there, dude.
I heard Cece still using that term. I don't know if she just uses it for her own term, but I heard it. So
because it was so whack that they took that shit away.
Oh, dude, you remember the meeting that were you in that meeting where they were gonna take it away?
Well, not because I wasn't in street team anymore at that time, but I do remember them taking it away, and it was just whack because it was like, dude, y'all obviously don't understand the underlying meaning
you know what's crazy
of Hit Squad, dude. That's some hip hop shit, yo. Like,
yeah, what they had said though, they were like, we can't market this to customers that, you know, want to buy, you know, events or whatever because they're like, we don't want to come up and seem like thugs. But it's like,
and here comes the marketing and advertising side of radio. You know what I'm saying? Here comes the political side of radio at the end of the day.
Crazy how they changed it. You know what I mean? Like,
because they just changed it to KDAY Street Team.
That's the name that we got while we were there, though, right? It was the Hit Squad. Yeah, we started with that name. Right?
Well, okay, so at the end of the day, Anthony, you got to remember this shit. Let's really think back to where we started. Before us, we were the first like street team at KDAY, bro. Besides fucking Scooby and Showtime.
Oh yeah, that is.
They were the ones who were on the street team. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about Morello Media KDAY. Okay, I'm talking about when Morello Media bought out KDAY. What, back in like 2009, 2010?
12, I think, right?
Something like that. Well, maybe 2012. Yes. So like it was just Scooby and fucking Showtime, dude, on the fucking street team. Yeah. They were the only ones, dude.
Yeah, and then they
causing
would have
a
like
ruckus.
A few here and there, like, that would come in. But
yeah, like
for the most part, it was them like out there.
And then after that, it was us. We were the next round of people. So you know, it was just a trip, man. It was all fresh.
That was some crazy experiences.
All fresh, man.
What would have been the biggest turning point for your career? I know we talked a little bit about it, but like from where you're at now or just in life in general, what's been the biggest turning point and been like a huge 360 for you? Was it leaving radio and starting your new venture, or was it like anything like you had like, you know, an epiphany of something and then you just said, man, I'm going to try something different?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It was leaving radio and the epiphany of me realizing that I don't have to rely on this mainstream media source for me to be happy within this industry.
And to create your own.
Exactly. I don't need to rely on this big ass corporation to tell me that I'm worthy enough.
Yeah, you know what's a trip is so many people, I believe even now, maybe people that are there, and it's not to knock them.
Yeah.
And I used to have the same problem, was thinking that
this is my only way in.
Like, I don't know if I'll get a shot again. I don't know if I can get bigger than this.
But it's scary because you're there with all these people, all these fucking celebrities you're seeing every day. Like, it's a different lifestyle, yo. People don't know about that lifestyle, man. Nobody really knows, dude. Nobody really knows unless you in that shit. And once you're in it, you feel like there's no way out, or if you leave, that there's no way back in.
Yeah, and I'm sure you went through, because I think I went through a dark period. What I'm saying is like a period where I really wasn't sure what I was going to do next, but I wasn't going to go back. I wasn't going to beg for my job.
Yeah.
But
And it wasn't even like
an
an ego thing. It wasn't even an animosity thing.
Yeah, and
it was just a matter of like you figuring out something different.
Yeah, something
moving
else.
Forward.
Yeah, something else had hit me, and it's like it's time for me to go. Like,
yeah.
What am I getting from here? And is there opportunity in the near future? Not that I needed to rush anybody, but hey, man, I'm making the push out there, and I'm hustling and doing all this. That it's like maybe I'm either gonna keep sacrificing or I'm gonna try something else. So I decided to pave my own way. And with me leaving, though, there was a period of time where I was kind of not really creating and kind of just soaking it all in still, letting it resonate.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you're just like, dude, this is the next step, you know? And then after a while, I just shook it off and was like, all right, let's get to the drawing board now.
Yeah, but I do got to say this, man. I do got to intervene and say this, is that I have so much fucking respect for the OGs in the radio business, for the people who've been doing this for 30 plus years, 20 plus years. Like, they had the guts and the glory to keep on fucking fighting.
Through everything, through multiple jobs.
Because it's hard.
Yeah.
Radio is difficult. You have to have some tough ass fucking skin. You got to be willing to just have no sleep, to just keep on fucking working for years. If you want to make it, if you want to be big boy, you think big boy was big boy overnight, nigga?
Hell
nah.
No.
And he's still, he is the voice of LA because of what he's done for so many years. So it's like, I got respect for those people, and I got respect for the people who are trying to be those people, who are in the radio industry, who are young like us right now and are trying to become those people eventually. But I guess for me, the reason why I couldn't do it anymore is because, like, I guess I wanted more of I don't know, man. I can't really put a sentence to it or a word on it, but I just wanted not like a more immediate satisfaction, but just more of like a gratification. For me personally, I needed to feel like I was doing something for people. I needed to feel I was like fucking like giving back to somebody, or like I was really like touching people, and I wasn't doing that much, like, because you were too busy trying to hurry up and get to that top point. I don't know if I'm making sense here, but you are. You get what I'm saying, though. Nonetheless, is like it's different for everybody. If you got the skin for that, handle business, man. If you could do it,
all we're saying is that if something's tugging at your heart, then # do the right thing.
Plug in, ding.
But really though, it's like it going back to that though, like that's what I never really mentioned too much, but it does take a lot of work, and there's people who've gone through 4, 5, 6, 7 different radio shows
and gotten fired,
different states,
fucking,
and it happens. You get fired, but. And the people that usually get fired come back swinging at the next one. And not only that, I feel like if you can make it, and that's why I'm glad for the resumes we built, but if ever you wanted to touch bases on it, but if you can make it in LA radio,
you can make it anywhere.
Or California radio and New York radio or any major city on any coast.
You got the golden ticket.
Then you're going to make it in radio or any fast-paced marketing or anything involving the music industry that relates to radio. Yeah. Because it's such a fast-paced environment and things are constantly moving, and you've seen it all and done it all. So there's nothing new under the sun pretty much that you can't handle. You know what I mean? So,
well, you're always used to troubleshooting and fucking winging it. I feel like Troubleshoot was our middle name, nigga. Yeah. Especially with the KDAY Street team.
If there's any like I think we touched base on that, but like, what would you tell someone that wanted to get in radio? Like, what could you tell them? Like, if they really wanted to pursue radio, what would you tell them? Like, what would they need to do?
Have patience. I would say have patience, because it's going to be a long journey. It's going to be a long ride. Have patience and know that this is what you want to do. Like, have patience and have a security in your investment. Like, know what you're investing in. I think that's within anything, whether it be radio, whether it be whatever the fuck that you want to do, realize what you're investing in first. Because it's like, dude, this is your whole fucking life. What you gonna do? Waste half your life and then realize, oh, actually, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm gonna go do this. Which there's nothing wrong with that either. But your time is fucking money, man. Your time is precious.
Do you encourage education behind pursuing that?
Of course.
Okay, so you feel
I recommend education for anything. I still want to educate myself. Education is key, man. Knowledge is power. you know?
Yeah,
you need to learn in anything that you do.
Yeah,
keep learning
keep
every day.
learning every day until the end of time.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That's the best thing to do.
Totally.
So we're gonna dive into this next segment, what I call the connection corner.
Okay, connection corner. I'm in the corner.
Yeah, the connection corner in the corner. So it's funny. You've seen the book I was reading.
Yes.
So what books have you read?
So you were gonna ask me this question.
Yeah, I was.
Okay, I didn't know that, dude.
Yeah. So what books have you read and like any time frame over the years or most recent? What books have you read that really resonated with you?
I mean, dude, you know what book is? I'm sure everybody says this book, but The Alchemist.
Oh yeah, that's
such a fucking great book, dude. I couldn't put that book down. I finished that book in like a day and a half, yo.
Just a day and a half?
Man, it's not that bad. It was like 200 pages, dude.
Like, it was nothing.
It was not that bad. But
if you really focus on it, I lose my attention span.
I used to take the train, man. I used to take the train.
So to give you something.
And then like you can't listen to music on the train because you're underground. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would always just be reading. This is when I was working at KDAY. I would always just be reading on the train on the way to work. But The Alchemist, that one, classic book, man. Just because of, I mean, like, find who you are, find your passion, and go with it. You know, it's exactly what we're talking about now. But as far as books, like I had said to you, I'm reading the same book you're actually reading right now. It's what is it? Everything is Fucked. Yeah. I was gonna say the other one because the same guy, Mark Manson, who wrote the first one, it was The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yeah,
I just like his perspective, dude. Like and then the way he writes, it's very personable, you know, and he's just talking about real life relevant shit and being real with you on the sense that, like, I feel like our society right now, dude, we're starting to realize how to be more vulnerable.
Yeah, and it's pretty much telling you in his own words, but that can relate to you, is like, cut the shit. Stop lying to yourself.
Yeah.
And accept your human nature, accept you for you.
Yeah, and realize that we're not fucking perfect.
Yeah,
and that everybody's going through the same shit. You know what I mean? Like, you could lie all you want and say, oh, my life is so perfect and I'm just over here living the best life, you know?
Yeah,
no, dude.
Perception's a big thing in our generation. Social media.
Yeah, dude.
All the platforms.
You stop it, man. You know you're over there crying in the corner at night, okay? Like, let's be real. But it's okay. We could cry together, dude. We gonna get through this shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's definitely, you're like, are you ready?
No. Well, I see you, Mr. Podcast host over here, man, getting it. Shit.
You're crazy. So, what movies or cartoons or shows were you into growing up or now that inspire you? Or that you just really dig? Like, what's that?
That's a good question, man. Fuck, dude. You know, okay, the first one that comes to mind, and I always think about this one, and nobody ever fucks with me, dude, on this one.
What?
But when I was a kid, I used to watch Captain Planet.
You know what? Was he like the color of Earth?
He was
like
he was the
blue?
world, and then it was like all these kids had these fire, rain, fucking earth, whatever, dude, you know. And then like,
I remember
but they all came together to help the environment.
Yeah.
And it was like Captain Planet, he's the hero, you know.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a good show.
We were super young when that was.
Yeah,
out,
that was some
90s.
old school shit.
That was 90s.
That was.
Sure.
I had to take it back right there, real quick.
Throwback.
Other than that, dude, you know what's one of my favorite fucking movies of all time, dude?
Which one?
I hope you've seen it. American Beauty.
Oh, that's a crazy
99,
one.
American Beauty. Kevin Spacey, even though he's a fucking creep.
Yeah, that's crazy though. That's
one of my favorite movies.
His daughter's friend, right?
Well, dude, so it starts off with him dying in the beginning, and I'm not giving it away because that's how it fucking starts off.
Yeah.
And then like the whole movie is just pretty much talking about his life and how it got to that point. But I'm just a sucker for like things that have meaning, man. Like I love things that have an underlying meaning, like
a deep message
yes.
that it's like wake up.
Yeah.
You need to see that, like, be woke, you know.
That's beautiful to me. I love it when things like toggle my brain like that, make me think outside of the box.
It's dope that like movies, books, or like
art.
any type of art could inspire you or have a underlining message that makes you like think about your life or how you're living it or certain things you do. It like triggers something in your head and you're like, oh shit, like I should wake up a little bit.
Dude, art is on this earth for a reason, man. Like,
for real.
Self-expression is real. You gotta express yourself in any way, shape, or form that you can, man.
Because honestly, I feel like that's how we connect.
Yes.
And then when you see something relatable, because you may have things you're holding in or holding back, and then you see something that's like, out in the front, open, living its truth. You're like, oh shit, I could feel okay now.
Yes,
like, it's okay to be me.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was wrong to be me.
I'm not like this is normal.
Yeah.
You know, I feel you.
What I was gonna say is that obviously people have to, if they're listening, they obviously know by now what kind of music we like.
Yeah, yeah.
But what
Shit.
is your favorite genres? And I'm sure you have tons of music you
Yeah.
listen to, but what's your top genres, or what's music that really moves you?
Man, I have to say it's like, I mean, obviously hip hop is the foundation. It's always been the foundation, just because that's where I started, and you just dig from there, you know? But I fucking love like soul and funk, man. Like I know for sure now, like as far as a genre, what speaks to me and what I really connect to is like soul and funk. Like music that just has fucking you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
man.
like,
it just got that soul to it. Like
yeah.
I gravitate towards that shit heavy. That's my sound for sure, you know? And like hip hop obviously has foundation with that, you know.
And it's really cool working for the company that you work for, because you're in tune with a lot of jazz, a lot of
totally. I'm
like
now a jazz head.
cross fusion though, like
Yeah.
hip hop, jazz, funk, soul, like
rock,
you're getting
electronic, everything, dude.
It's like a mixture of everything that you're being exposed to.
Totally.
So your ear is starting to grow for
dude,
music
even like
more.
world music now, man. I'm up on fucking all my Brazilian artists now, dude. So like it's interesting. Music, that's what I'm saying. Music is so fucking amazing. Like, and it's like I just find myself digging back, dude. I haven't really been listening to a lot of new music. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like once I left radio, I kind of disconnected from that, because in radio it was like you gotta be up to date with everything new. Like when it fucking drops, you better be the first one to listen to that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was over that, man. I am
so
not
crazy,
keeping up with
like-
any of that shit no more. I don't give a fuck about Cardi B. I don't give a fuck about Offset. Don't talk to me about none of that shit. I don't know nothing. Talk to me about some fucking Joao Donato, some Marcos Valle. Talk to me about some fucking Freddie Hubbard, some fucking Roy Hargrove. You know what I mean? Like we can talk about some classic shit. I got you on that though.
Something with some substance.
Hell yeah, I got you on that though. For
Were
sure.
you ever a game nerd back in the day? Did you ever play games or no?
I mean, like I would play like fucking, you know, GameCube and like Nintendo, like with
Mario
my brother.
Kart?
Yeah, like back in the day, that type of shit. But I never was really heavy into games. That was all my brother, man. That was all my brother for sure.
You just sit there and watch, like
I would
am
just
gonna
be
get
I
the
would just be
controller?
there playing, and like when I would play, I would fucking press every button just to like win, and then when I would win, I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, dude, I fucking won."
That's crazy. So, what are you working on? Anything currently right now? Any projects in the works or ideas you're throwing out there? Or is there anything that you would like to promote today?
Well, you know, like I said, just keep on the lookout for my Do the Right Thing stuff. Like I said, I'm always in the community, but an extension of my Do the Right Thing brand, I would have to say now, is Unite. So it stands for United Neighbors in Touch with Everyone. And fortunately for me, the people that I work with at Artform, they opened up their space to me to allow me to throw events, a community event, like a quarterly community event in Highland Park, where I feature a nonprofit organization and raise funds and awareness for them. So this is like my Do the Right Thing community show taken to like an experiential, like live event, right? Whereas like with my community show, I would just utilize my platform to talk about what they do. Now I get to show people what these nonprofit organizations do. So this has led me to a new passion where I want to eventually open up my own studio. I want to open up my own studio, open up my own event space. I want it to be all in one place where it's going to be a community studio for anybody, for everyone. And I also want to have my event space where I'll be able to like throw events for these nonprofit organizations. But nonetheless, man, like, you know, it's just bringing awareness, being in the community, and highlighting people who do some pretty fucking amazing things in the community, who sacrifice their lives to do that for people, for other people, you know, like that's what it's all about. So I want to be able to just be that platform, be that voice. That's always been my goal, and I want to continue doing that. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's really dope, because this whole thing and my concept behind this is how do we connect outside of technology? Obviously, we're using technology to listen and everything, but to actually disconnect from all the negatives and disconnect from the lack of love, the lack of respect, the things that are changing for the worse. How do we tap back into that? And yours, as I was going to ask you, how do you connect with people? But it's through community.
Yeah.
Through the platforms you're using, through the company giving you the space, you wanting to open up your own space and give a platform to provide people to a common ground, a meeting place where everyone could come together and meet, whether it's on painting, whether it's on music, poetry, you know, publishing, writing. It could be any form, or just regular people who just want to go out and get involved with the community.
Exactly. Yep.
And that's dope to me. And it doesn't take much. You don't need your phone out 24/7.
No, dude.
You just need to be open and willing to learn about somebody else.
Yeah, meeting new people, and actually like really like meeting them, talking to them, dude. Like, it's not for a monetary gain for me, man. Like, it's really just me just wanting to connect with the people that are around me. I want to know my community. I want to know my people. I want you guys to know me, because I want you to know that, hey, you have a helping hand here. You know what I mean? Like, you're not alone.
And you know what's crazy is what's been hard for me throughout the years is like how everyone always says like communication is key. Communication is key, but it's funny because you start to see more posts about it, but comprehension and understanding.
I just seen that
last
night.
It's true though.
I just seen that shit last night. Like,
it means a lot.
You could talk so much. It said something like that. I totally seen that. That's so funny you brought that up.
It's like understanding and the comprehension though. Like us communicating. You have to actually listen to the other person. And I'm not gonna lie. For the longest time, I've been bad at that, and I still am. And I want to work on it. But now I'm like admitting to it and understanding like I need to get better at listening and then talk. You know, like talk less, listen more.
That's
you know
I'm learning that too, man. Don't even trip.
And I just feel like that will help people way more. Like, it gets things more squared off, and it's less tension, less build up, and that just goes across the board. If people at work, if people in your professional setting, and people at home and everything, like learn how to talk
even at home
to each
too,
other,
man. Shit,
like,
that's a big one at home.
It would go far,
Yeah.
if you just learned how to communicate a little better. But like I said, it's not just sitting down and talking; it's understanding, letting people speak.
You also got to think about this though. For generations before, it was not something to do, but you don't talk. Especially being like, well, I'm talking about like my background, like Mexican background.
Yeah.
You don't talk about your feelings. You don't talk about anything.
It's like, are you taking care of your shit? All right, good.
Yeah,
see you tomorrow.
Bye. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So this is, I feel like, a newfound glory for everybody. Realizing and really, really understanding communication. You know? I love communication. I fucking love it, dude. Like, that to me is like, dude, you are birthed with your own fucking power. Voice. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, to me, it's amazing. So I take advantage of it because I love it so much, and I see the power in my voice, you know?
Yeah.
But I want other people to see that power too.
Being a light.
Yes.
Being a light somewhere, and then it's like, because when you leave a place after you've had a great conversation or after you had a good time, you feel like boosted. Your
that other person does too, man. You know, like
you feel, that's what I'm saying. Like you leaving a room after someone came in and lit that shit up, and you're just like, oh damn. You leave, you know, like you're like in a whole different mood because it's like it enlightened you.
Totally.
It maybe inspired you or sparked something in your mind. Like, man, I want to be more like that person. Not necessarily trying to compare, but I want that energy. I want to come good, like come correct like that. I want to be on that level, like in life, spiritually and enlightened. You know, like I want to be awake and feel comfortable in my own skin, you know? So that's something we're all working on, and it's dope. Like, I just want to thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And pulling up and telling your story, dude. Like,
always,
it means a lot, and I've known you throughout the years, and you've got to see my growth. I've seen your growth, and you continue moving and evolving in this industry, and that's what's really dope about it, is like you haven't had to change who you are. You change the perspective a little bit or change what you want to do, your ultimate goal, but it keeps coming back full circle to community, to what your ultimate goal is, and that's what's dope. No matter which way you toss and turn, life's ups and downs, whatever's coming your way, you still sticking to what you want to do. Yeah. And that's the ultimate goal.
Exactly, yep.
And before you head out, do you want to plug anything? Where can they find you?
You can follow me at I am Amanda Wright, and that's Wright with a W. Do the right thing with a W. But yeah, that's about it, man. You know, just catch me in these streets.
What platforms can they find you on?
Instagram, Facebook. I don't have a Twitter. YouTube. Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
All right, for sure. And where do you work at again, if they ever want to drop in and see you?
The Artform Studio. Come through. We do awesome events called Jazz is Dead. And it's a bunch of different like jazz shows. Very eclectic. You guys should totally come check it out. And then just come get some records, man. We got a dope-ass record store. Sherry will get you a nice little hairdo going. And, you know, we just could just talk about art and creating and what we could do next for the community.
So you leave out of there with a new do and some new records.
Yes, you get to choose which record you're playing. You know what I'm saying? Like
special.
Exactly, dude.
All right, again, I want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Anthony.
You guys are listening to Soul Disconnected Podcast. I'm Tony Wright. Wrights. Peace. Yo, it's When Tony Wrights. You're listening to So Disconnected Podcast. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at So Disconnected. Tap the link in our bio to select the platform of your choice. We are also available on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, the Stitcher Radio app, TuneIn Radio app, and YouTube. Thank you for listening. Peace.